did go on multiple every time I've talked about this game, I've just talked about Jake Moody. So I thought I should I thought I should try to get other thoughts before I talked about how frustrated I was with Jake Moody. And it's not, this once again goes to like organizational criticism. Because it's not Jake Moody's fault. I mean, it is, but he's a rookie, and we've seen the data on rookie kickers, no matter how great they were in college, no matter how highly they were drafted, that they struggle. I think I used the reference, he's going to be like a Hall of Famer, Jonathan Tucker.
Yeah, Justin Tucker.
Yeah, for Justin Tucker. For the Ravens, who's like a Hall of Famer, was terrible his rookie year. Like, rookies are just bad. You have to adjust. I don't know if it's a mental thing. I don't know what it is, but it is frustrating that a team that went so all in to get all these high, Javon Hargrave performed great. Randy Gregory, we'll talk about him. He had a great game. They're bringing in all these pieces. Why is a Super Bowl caliber team relying on a rookie kicker when they had someone who was reliable and stable? They have, I think, is it $41 million in cap right now that they could, like, money is not, people are like, he wants too much. Money is not an issue if you win it's not an issue in general, but also if you win a Super Bowl, like, no one's going to be like, I can't believe you gave Robbie Gould $5 million. Like, if you get to the Super Bowl and Jake Moody misses the kick, they're going to remember that you didn't pay Robbie Gould. Like, that's going to be the issue.
Yeah.
And so when we're asking about Super Bowl expectations, maybe taking it off of the or like my Super Bowl expectations and maybe worry around that, and not even Super Bowl, playoffs, important games, the Eagles game that we're talking about. Okay, maybe the offense and defense can pull it together. They did in this game. No matter, like, they played so poorly and they set themselves up with a chance to win at the very end. And unfortunately, the kicker could not make the kick. And so I wonder what your thoughts are on the 49ers relying on Jake Moody. Should they be calling Robbie Gould? I was talking about this earlier with Eric Crocker, and he was like, that's such a Monday overreaction. And I was like, I feel like I've had this thought way before this game. So I just feel justified now. But I don't know, maybe do you want to walk me off the ledge? Do you have similar concerns? How are you feeling about Jake Moody today?
The 49ers made a choice, right? And they made that choice in the off season, and that was to let Robbie Gould walk. And we're gonna invest a 3rd round pick on Jake Moody. As soon as that happened, the door was closed on any like Robbie Gould reunion. You know what I mean? Like, there's just no way that the 49ers bring in a 3rd round rookie kicker and then still sign Robbie Gould. I do understand they did bring in the other kicker that they had in the preseason.
Gonzalez.
Yeah, Zane Gonzalez. But that happened before they drafted Moody, to be fair.
And it was for like a conditional, not real pick. Like, it was
and they would have liked to flip that pick probably, which they couldn't because he got hurt. But anyway, like, I feel like that closed the door on Gould or any other, veteran kicker coming to this team. Now, do the 49ers deserve some criticism for making that decision, right? Like, as you said, relying on a rookie kicker for a team who, as we've been mentioning, is like a Super Bowl aspiring team. That does seem like a huge risk, right? Not just for, this year, but even several years. Like, it's such a cautionary tale, and it has been, like, kickers that get picked before, that get picked on day 2. Like, that just historically has not worked out well for those teams that have done it. But they made their bed, right? And now they have to lay in it and see if it's going to play out. So I don't think the 49ers are going to, overreact to what they saw on Sunday. I think they're gonna let him work through it. This is why they drafted him too, right? Because they felt like he was like this mentally strong, guy who can overcome, these kinds of things. And so they're gonna keep rolling with him. If it becomes an issue where, this is a multi-week thing and he can't seem to get right on track, and if they lose a game or two because he can't hit a game-winning kick, I mean, they would bring someone in. I think they won't hesitate then, but I think it's still too early for them to really make that call right now.
Is this a and this is we're predicting the future, so this is not real, but I am not concerned about him missing kicks against the Vikings. I'm concerned that he could make
High
all of
pressure
his kicks
games.
for
Yeah.
the rest of the season, and then the 49ers get to the pivotal moment. And I was talking earlier in 2021, all of the first round playoff games were decided by a field goal or less. And so my fear is kind of that you don't realize until it's too late. And I just want it on record that I'm criticizing them now if that happens.
I mean, you're not the first, and I mean, you won't be the last, right? Like I guess like I don't want to worry about the kicker position just because
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you're right. And
like it does
what we
scare me. It does scare
yeah,
me, so I don't want to worry about it, and I just hope that Moody is gonna just overcome this. But it is uncomfortable, right? But
I
like I
do
said, like
wonder.
they have they have to live with the decision they made.
I wonder, do you think that Kyle Shanahan could potentially be more aggressive now in these, maybe not, against the Vikings, but in critical moments? Do you think he kind of tends, this year's been a little bit different. We've talked about growth, but I think normally he errs on the side of caution and errs for kicking the field goal. Do you think that maybe having this in the back of his mind could push him to go for it more often and maybe not put his offense in a situation? Obviously, no one wants to put their offense in that situation, but do you think that it could potentially change his aggressiveness and really make him feel like he cannot solely rely on the kicker position? Or do you think that the way to go about it is kind of to express faith and trust in him because maybe that's what he needs. Maybe he needs belief. I know in his locker room interview after he said like he was really grateful that everyone on the team kind of had his back and wasn't getting on him. So maybe that's what he needs. Which way do you think Kyle will go if you had to pretend to be in Kyle's mind tonight?
I mean,
You know,
it could go either way, right? And it really depends on the game and the situation you're in. Like, I don't think in that situation that they were in the fourth, let's just say Jake Moody had missed a kick the week prior, right? And say that
yeah.
they were going into this game because he did miss a kick earlier in the game. Let's not forget that. So,
Mhm.
like, but regardless of that, like, you're in the situation where you only need a field goal to win. You're obviously not going to like march down the field on this Browns defense the entire way and score a touchdown. So you're looking to get a field goal there and you're looking to get as close as you can. In that
Do you,
situation, like you have to go with the kicker. Like you don't really have a choice but to go with the kicker. So I do think there are going to be those situations where he has no choice and you're just going to have to rely on the kicker you drafted in the third round to grow up and see if he can make that kick, right? And either it's a confidence booster or killer, but you're going to have to live with that, right? Like we've been saying. But also in those other situations where maybe you do have that decision, I do feel like Kyle has already been pretty aggressive on fourth downs outside of we didn't see them even go for any fourth downs on Sunday because they were
yes.
so behind the sticks. But I think in other games where you have that opportunity and you feel like everything's working right, and you feel like you have a play that can you can convert, then yeah, like I think he would go for it because I think we've seen that from Kyle so far this season.
We definitely have seen him demonstrate that. I wanted to maybe ask your opinion or give my opinion. I saw some criticisms when it came to Kyle Shanahan that maybe he should have ran an extra play before that field goal to try to get him
Yeah.
a little bit closer. Um, I was thinking that with all the mistakes that were happening, that maybe he didn't want to uh, rely. He didn't want there to be a chance for a mistake. Sorry, words. So I thought maybe he was just trying to. Felt like 41 yards is a pretty easy distance for someone like Jake Moody, and maybe it wouldn't have made that much of a difference, and he didn't want to risk a turnover or a fumble or something like that. But do you think, with the perspective of hindsight, that he should have maybe tried to get a little bit closer? Because I think they had a timeout and I think 30 seconds, so they
hmm
could have done
I
that.
yeah, I thought they were gonna try to get one more run in there. I think they could have. I understand the risk, but I think it would have been worth the risk, right? Like, even if you
Mhm.
lost yardage, it'd probably just be like a couple yards, if
Yeah,
that.
so
And
kind of the
at
same.
that point, okay, fine. Like, let Moody kick that. And if not, like, you live with that too. But yeah, I really did feel like they could have gotten, a couple extra yards on that one. In which case, like, I was kind of silly actually. There's like this Twitter account that does analysis on like the weather and like I guess field goals or whatever. And it was
Mhm.
like the wind impacted it enough that it was like 3 yards or something. It was like 2.9 yards. And so had they been like
Just
just a few yards closer, that would have probably gone in. So yeah, because you saw it, it
see,
went.
you're making
Yeah, it
my
was it
case
was
that
like just
Kyle Shanahan
barely.
is to blame. You're making my
Well,
like you started saying that, but now I feel like I wasn't
but
even
at the same
I was
time, but
blaming
at the same time, Ashley, like the 49ers drafted a kicker in the third round to be able to hit kicks like this. For two reasons,
yeah,
like there we can criticize them, I guess, either way, like
yeah.
either for the pick or for not going for an extra run there.